It's Thursday, January 14th, and you're watching The Great Lost Rewatch. Today we're watching the Season 4 finale.
There's No Place Like Home, Parts 2 and 3. When we last left our freighter people, things were not looking so good.
Desmond tries to see if there's any way that they can disarm the bomb, and the only option is boom, basically. Kimi and company get back to the helicopter,
And all of a sudden Kate runs in and says that she's being chased by the others.
a big old fight breaks out.
Saeed and Kimi have a really good fight, but things are not looking so good for Saeed, and then Richard comes and shoots Kimi in the back.
Ben asks Richard what they promised Kate and Saeed for their assistance, and Richard said that he'd let them off the island.
On the freighter, Michael gets a tank of liquid nitrogen and uses it on the bomb, saying that it won't stop the bomb from exploding, but it will give them a heads up so they can get everybody off the freighter. At the Orchid Station, Jack and Locke are having a discussion, talking about, leader things.
Locke tells Jack that he needs to stay on the island, that he's important.
And if you leave this place, that knowledge is gonna eat you alive.
Jack is like, I'm not listening to you, old man, la 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 la, I'm getting off the island.
Then Locke tells him, if you're gonna leave, you're gonna have to lie, because this place is special and nobody gets to know what happened on this island.
Eventually Ben shows up and shows them the elevator to the real Orchid Station, and Locke and Jack say goodbye.
Lie to them, Jack. If you do it half as well as you lie to yourself, they'll believe you.
Jack, Sawyer, and Hurley meet up with Kate, Saeed, and Frank, and they all get on the helicopter, and they're gonna go to the freighter.
Dan makes it back to the island. He tells Charlotte that it's time to get, she needs to be on the next trip to the freighter. Miles questions Charlotte about why she wants to leave the island. Locke and Ben make it down to the actual Orchid Station.
Locke is asking Ben all these questions, and Ben, kind of like he's talking to a child, goes, "Here, go watch this videotape, go be entertained, Daddy's got some work to do."
Ben gives Locke the orientation video to watch.
The unique properties of this island have created a kind of Casimir effect.
I don't know what a Casimir effect means. You know what? Let's look it up. Come on, Wikipedia. Casimir effect. Oh god, it's physics. I hate physics. In quantum field theory, the Casimir effect and the Casimir-Polar force are physical forces arising from a quantized field. I have no idea what any of this means.
He says not to put any non-organic materials in it, especially not metals, as Ben is loading it up with every metal thing that is down in that station.
And Locke asks, is that video talking about what I think it's talking about?
If you mean time-traveling bunnies, then yes.
And Kimi makes it down into the Orchid Station.
What is it with characters we hate that will just not die? Kimi points out the remote on his arm and he says it's linked to his pulse. So the second that he no longer has a heartbeat, i.e. he's dead, explosives will go off, completely destroying the freighter. The freighter has moved, so Frank does not know where it is, and the chopper is quickly running out of gas. Frank says he would feel comfortable if they were a couple 100 pounds lighter.
Sawyer leans over and whispers to Kate, "Daughter in Albuquerque, you have to find her and tell her I'm sorry." Is what he says. And then he jumps out of the helicopter, and Kate cries. Oh, they kiss. Right.
Back at the Orchid, Ben is hiding in the dark, ready to strike, and Kimi is really trying to goad him and get him upset, and it works.
Ben sort of flips out a little bit and stabs Kimi, like, right in the neck. Yuck.
You just killed everybody on that boat.
So?
Luckily, Michael and his liquid nitrogen idea do work. Unfortunately, that is the moment where the helicopter comes, keeping in that great tradition of Lost finales where everything that can go wrong will go wrong.
And Desmond's like, "Don't land! Stop! There's a bomb!" And Jack says, "Did he just say bomb?" The helicopter takes off just as Jin runs out onto the landing pad and is like, "Wait!"
Michael has used up the last of his liquid nitrogen, and then Christian Shepherd shows up and says, "You can go now, Michael."
And then the boat explodes and sun explodes.
Sawyer makes it back to the island, emerges from the ocean without a shirt, nothing wrong with that at all. Juliet is drinking, and Sawyer says, "Oh, you're celebrating." And Juliet's like, no, I'm not celebrating, and points that the freighter has exploded. Ben turns on the vault with all the metal objects in it. It explodes, and he tells John that his part is done now. I have to be the one to move the island because the consequence of moving is that you can never get back. There is a ladder, and descending down to the ladder is a plate of ice, and he breaks it, and he falls, and he gets down there, and there's this really cold cold environment on a tropical island? I do not understand. And there in this frozen tundra is a giant donkey wheel.
The island's gone, the fuel's gone, and the helicopter goes down. And it is a miracle that Aaron survives that. How does a baby survive that kind of crash?
I was starting to freak out at this point because we knew that Desmond was not one of the Oceanic Six, and I was thinking, oh my god, Desmond's gonna die. But he doesn't, of course. Jack saves him with CPR.
They're on a life raft, floating in the water, just aimlessly floating when they run into a boat.
And before they get to the boat, Jack tells everybody they have to lie. What do you think's gonna happen to us when we tell them that, no, that was not our plane?
And guess whose boat that happens to be? It's Penny's boat. And Desmond and Penny reunited. It's so cute. 1 week later, Jack, Kate, Saeed, Aaron, Hurley, and Son all get into a life raft and sail to Mumbata, which is 3,000 miles from where they were. Their story is unfolding. Flash forward picks up right where the season 3 finale leaves off. Jack is yelling after Kate that they have to go back. Kate stops her car, puts it in reverse, gets out and says, "We have to go back? You bring me a Jeremy Bentham's obituary and you tell me that we've got to go back?" He came and talked to me and said that, and I knew that he was crazy, but you listened to him.
We then see Hurley in the mental institution, and Walt comes to visit him, and not to be mean or anything, but puberty has not been kind. Walt talks about how he was waiting for one of the Oceanic Six to come visit him, but they didn't. But you know who did come to visit him? Jeremy Bentham.
Saeed kills a man outside of Santa Rosa and goes and takes Hurley and says that Jeremy Bentham has died and things have changed and they need to go somewhere safe. Son tells Widmore that they have common interests and to call her, and she kind of coyly walks away.
Kate is sleeping and this phone call wakes her up, and it's the weird backwards talk that tells her the island needs you have to go back, and she hears some noise in Aaron's room. She takes a gun.
Don't you touch my son!
Did I say my son? Sorry, I meant your son. Claire tells Kate to never, ever bring Aaron back to the island.
Jack breaks into the funeral parlor.
The producers promised that by the time season 4 was over, we would know who was in the coffin. They waited till the absolute last second to tell us, but whatever. This whole episode, they're trying to get you to believe that it's Ben, because of course the name Jeremy Bentham, and the fact that we knew that Ben was off the island. Ooh. Okay, so maybe it's not Ben in the coffin.
You've got to get everybody to go back to the island. And it kind of pans around, and who's in the coffin? That's the frozen donkey wheel scene, not the actual scene where Ben pushes the frozen donkey wheel.
Locke! It was Locke in the coffin. Locke is dead. Dead is dead.
I am back tomorrow with Because You Left.
This is it, people. I mean, we are in the final stretch, and I am so excited to watch season 5.
I'll see you guys later. Bye.
We're gonna need to watch that again.
Bentham is listed as present but not voting. How weird is that? I don't know what it means for Locke or... Oh, maybe I do. That his body is there, but it's not Locke. He's not present. Oh, that is... Oh. Can you see the wheels turning in my head, Lesley?
Hi, so I've started editing this video, and I realized that for the title sequence in the episode recaps that Liz and I do together, it says Liz, Lesley, and a polar bear, and a fun joke that she and I have that maybe no one else finds funny is that somewhere in the back of my screen there's a polar bear. Well, I've recorded There's No Place Like Home Part 2 and 3 the whole way through, and I'm editing it now, and I forgot to put a polar bear into the frame while I was talking, and there is no way that I'm going back and recording that again, so here. Look, there was a polar bear somewhere. We can all be happy. Want a Coke?